Hello and welcome to another episode of the CAGED Canary podcast on Before Magic. I'm your host, Mahdi Gilbert, and today we are talking about a subject that I love to talk about, which is what is good for magic. And many of you know that I have had my own opinions on what has been going on in the magic community. And I personally have been very disappointed with the magic community throughout the years. And it's not a good feeling when you care about something and you see everybody going out of their way going out of their way to really destroy the thing that you love for no reason and to really sabotage it. But my purpose here is not to trash magicians or speak poorly on them. I just want to talk about the high level thinking that I've been doing throughout the years and thinking about the problems and the solutions. So I've thought about it a lot, and one of the things that I had a major problem with and that I've discussed a lot was exposure in magic. Some of the stuff that you see online, and I've talked about it before on previous episodes and different videos that I've made. You all know what I'm talking about, or at least my regular viewers do. But it is something I've been very vocal about. And I even remember a few months ago I posted on the Genie forum. Genie magazine has a forum, and I posted the magic community in total silence as this magician exposes hundreds or thousands of magic tricks on YouTube. And I put a link to it, and it was not banned, but it was censored. That post was heavily censored. And the discussion around it, one of the things that I learned from speaking out about this, and the reason why I speak out about it, I talked about before how this was all going online, how it was going to be searchable in a database, and basically how you would eventually, not right now, but eventually be performing in real time and having the explanations to your magic tricks popping up on people's phones, which is coming. But anyways, I talked about this all online. Nobody really understood what I was talking about. But even more alarming, nobody cared. And I had a dilemma, almost a crisis, where here I am, the people who I've spent time with, the people who I've been around in magic, who sort of taught me a lot about magic, they all had a high respect for the art of magic. They all had a tremendous respect for the secrets, and this was never something I was taught. This was never something that I was taught was okay. Magic was something that I was always taught to protect. And so I had this situation, which is, do I turn on these people? Do I disassociate myself from these people? What is it that I do? And I thought about it. Can you actually help magicians, help people who are learning magic become better? Can you help them care? Does it really matter? And the thing that I realized, and believe me, this took a lot of thought, thousands of hours of thinking about this. And I'm not joking when I say thousands of hours, because I really do think about magic all day. Even when I am doing other stuff, my thoughts are scattered and going on to magic. So this is something I spent hours thinking about. And the solution that I came to, or the idea that I came to, was that no, there's nothing really that I can do. You can influence the culture. You can have a positive effect on the culture, the magician culture. You can have a positive or a negative effect. But at the end of the day, you can't really control what direction people choose to take. Not only that, though, but beyond that, you are not in control. You are not in control of the level of artistry and the level of discipline and work and the level of respect that people who are practicing the art put in. You can certainly influence it, but you have no control. And so once I realized that, I just said to myself, I'm giving up this fight. And the reason why I'm giving up is not because I'm wrong, but because really there's nothing that I can do. And also, I mean, to be quite honest, I lost a lot of respect for the community of magicians who go along with this stuff and think it's okay. I understand why a lot of people are silent, but I won't speak about that. But I do understand it. I do understand it. One of the quotes that one of my friends had on his desk, it was a quote from Ricky Jay, and it said, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact quote, but it said that the only thing that you can do good for magic is perform it well in a live performance situation. That's a quote by Ricky Jay. I'm paraphrasing, so it's a little bit off. But the idea is there. The only good thing that you can do for the art is perform it well in a live situation for people. And that's such a simple quote. That's such a simple idea. And to be quite honest, when you do really have time to reflect, like I'm sure Ricky Jay, who was also not a fan of the magic community at large, let's just leave it at that. But when you have a guy like that say it, and you do your best to understand what it is that he actually means. For me, I just took those words to heart, and I realized that the only good thing that I can do for magic is to raise the standard in my own work and perform it as well as I can for the people that I perform for around the world. The audiences, whether that's an impromptu audience and I'm just performing, a piece of magic for somebody in an informal setting, or if it's in a show. It's such a simple idea, but it's so powerful, and it's really changed my approach. And magic so often, as an art form, has literally just been hanging by a thread. There are many times throughout the years where the quality has gone so low. The art form is literally hanging by a thread. There's times where there might only be a single real magician on the planet, and there's a lot of people doing magic, there's a lot of people doing stuff, but there have been times where it seems like there's only been one real magician, sort of keeping that line alive, that line of treating magic like an art and holding it in a high respect. And people do this, by the way, in their own ways. Everybody does it in their own way. Anybody who's really good and really thinking about it. And it's okay to have a different approach, different philosophy. But it just struck me that, I'm doing this. This is before magic. This is the CAGED Canary podcast. I'm talking about magic. And I love talking about magic to magicians. I love sharing what I know, because I know how hard it is to do this stuff, and I do know how many people are struggling. So I like to be able to share my thoughts and my experiences. And it's out there, but it's out there for the people who really want it. It doesn't matter if people need it, but really you need many things that are good for you, but nobody can force you to do what's good for you. I can tell magicians, read this book, put your mirror this way, practice for a certain amount of hours per day. And at the end of the day, they have their own choices to make. They may just look at a trick and go on YouTube, find a quick 2-3 minute explanation, and then go out and perform it. Totally ruin the magic for people. I can't control that. As much as I hate for that to happen, it's happening every single day, and it will continue to happen. And then the people who are encouraging this stuff, people who are in the community, who, by the way, they are sort of supported by the community. The community supports this. I'm not talking about you guys who are watching this and, you're able to think about this stuff and make a little bit of sense out of it. But in a large way, the magic community does support the denigration of magic. It's a sad thing. It hurts to say it. It hurts to realize that that is the case and that I can't change it. When you look at countries are like case studies. You see these great magicians pop up in these different countries, and some of them become famous. They elevate the art form in their country. I won't name any countries or magicians. No matter where they bring it, it always gets brought back down. As soon as they're out of the game, as soon as they die, as soon as a few years go by, they might have great students and stuff who carry on their work and even take it to higher places. But eventually, the pattern that I've been seeing is that it goes up and it goes down. And really, for me, I just want to be one of those guys who brings it up. And the reason why I'm putting all this stuff out there, trying to teach what I know about magic to you through Before Magic, is so that you can be on that trend going up, not one of those guys bringing it down. I took a long break from doing this podcast because I really did question, what is the point? What am I trying to do? Does anybody really care? I've talked about my disappointment. Nobody really, actually there's a few people who I talk to a lot, magicians, and some people do understand my disappointment, but it is a disappointing thing. But it's like, okay, I can't change it. I tried to do something good for the magic community. I'm not going to raise the level of education. I can influence it by doing good work. That's all I can do. I can put good work out there, put good information out there, and for the people who want to learn it are going to learn it. Just like how I learned magic, and I went through that struggle, and I learned what I had to learn, and I learned it the hard way. I paid that price. The people who came before me paid their price. They worked hard. They did it their way. I'm doing it my way. The people who come after me are going to do it their own way. And that's what it is. I can't force good magic into the world. So I will be continuing this stuff, and I look forward to continuing it. I'm just doing it from a more mature mindset. I really wish that I didn't have to lose respect for a lot of the magic community. It's not a good feeling. And I'm trying not to be negative right now. I'm really not. But I do feel let down, considering all the time that I've put in, all the effort that I've put in to support the magic community, to try to do good things for it in different ways through a lot of different programs and initiatives and projects. And I have done good. And we've done a lot of good things. But my understanding of the situation, and it's been a long road to get here. It's given me a clarity, and that clarity it's now given me a freedom, and I'm just not worried about it anymore. All that disappointment, all the I don't need to argue with I don't need to tell magicians what to do. Why? Who? You know, I'm not going to sit there and argue with magicians and tell them what's good for them and what's good for their art and what's good for their audiences. If they're not going to listen, if they don't care, what am I going to do? Am I going to wrestle with them? Am I going to fight with them? No. I thought I could. I thought I could wrestle reason into people. I thought I could sort of force it in, but I can't. And they don't want it. It's like that great movie with Charlton Heston. It's called The Omega Man. And so you have the last man on Earth, and he's living in this post-apocalyptic world. Everyone around him has sort of mutated into these monstrous creatures. The vampires in the novel. But anyways, in the movie, he develops a cure. He's a scientist. He's the last man on Earth. Well, one of the last men on Earth. But the last real man on Earth. Anyways, he develops a cure. And he's like... And they're all surrounding his house and they want to kill him. And he's like, no, it doesn't need to be this way. They're suffering. And he's like, I have a cure. I'm trying to save you guys. And they're like, no, Neville. We don't want to be saved. And then they kill him. That's honestly, I'm not even joking. That is how I feel talking to the magic community at times and sharing my ideas with them. That is how I feel. Like Neville Chamberlain, Dr. Neville Chamberlain in The Omega Man. They made a version with Will Smith called I Am Legend. But that's literally how I feel. I feel like that character. It's, that might seem like an over-dramatization of the situation, but that is where we are. And to be quite honest, I'm not gonna fight the magic community. You won't hear me complaining about them. You won't hear me trying to raise the standard. I'm just gonna be putting out good information, and for the people who know that it's good information, for the people who really do want to learn about the stuff, it's gonna be there. You can do whatever you want. Having that said, moving forward, we're going to be doing the podcast regularly. I know that I've been a slouch on them recently. And that's largely because of what I just talked about. But moving forward, I'm just going to be putting out a lot of good information there. This is a free podcast. You're going to have great information. We also have paid products on our website. We have the Studies of Magic. We have our book club. We have, different things up there. I have courses. I have, effects that I've released. And they really, I do go in depth. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give out information, good information for the people who want it, for the people who need it. Other than that, I'm not fighting with these people. Also, to be quite honest, and I'm just going to say it, a lot of people won't tell you this, but I will. Actually, it makes me sound horrible by saying this, but a lot of people won't tell you any of this stuff because they actually don't think that you deserve to hear it. They don't think you're good enough or worthy to hear it and understand it. And I'm not joking. That I'm not joking. It sounds like I'm over-exaggerating when I'm saying this stuff, but there's a lot of people who just don't think that the magic community at large is worthy of hearing all this stuff. That's why they stay silent, and for other reasons. But that's the truth. And I don't want to be one of those guys. I don't want to have an antagonistic relationship with the magic community. I've seen so many great magicians, Ricky Jay, Renee Lavande, and others, who sort of totally detached from the magic community for that reason. And they're very silent about it. But when you talk to people who know them, you realize that yeah, there's a reason why they sort of separated themselves from the magic community. I don't want to be like that. It's so hard. Honestly, it's really hard, but I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. So we're going to be doing great podcasts, good information coming on a fairly regular basis. Stay tuned. Also, another thing with these podcasts, it used to be audio only. I used to do it all on my phone. Now I'm doing it through video. I like, the video. I was uploading it to YouTube anyways in a video file, so I'm like, why not? I just record it. So there's going to be a video component. There's also going to just be the audio component, and you can listen to that through the website or through whatever platform that you get it. It will all be posted to before Magic, so just check us out on our social media. And I look forward to being back in touch. Honestly, I really hope this doesn't make me seem as horrible as I think it does. I'm really doing my best. For the Magic community. There's nobody that's going to be as honest as me. So stay tuned. We're going to have great information. And we're also going to have guests on the podcasts. That was my plan originally, and I never got to that, but we're going to have guests. We're going to have great conversations. And you guys have seen me do interviews with people in the past. That is all going to be incorporated into the actual podcasts. So we have interviews that we have lined up, and we have old interviews. That stuff is going to go into these into the CAGED Canary podcast, and hopefully we'll have some great conversations. And I'm going to try to do it in a way that's comfortable. Sometimes, like, people don't realize, sometimes I'll sit down with a friend and we'll literally talk about Magic for hours and hours and hours, and it's the most fascinating conversation ever. And I'm always thinking, man, I should really be filming this. I could sell this. This is gold. People would pay $80 for a day's worth of conversation. Me walking through a European city, and I'm talking to this legendary magician, and we're just talking about everything. But we will be, putting that type of stuff out here on the CAGED Canary podcast. So please stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Thank you always for your support. And share the videos. We're trying to grow this. We want this to get out to people, but send it out to your friends. Send it out to people who you think it could be of use to. I don't want you to just send it to everyone. I mean, you could send it to everyone, but send it to people who you think care. And we have a ton of previous podcasts, very fascinating stuff, but we're going to get into more topical subjects. It's been very abstract, but we're going to move the focus into very practical applications. And we're going to have a bunch of stuff. So stay tuned. Thank you always for watching. I appreciate you. And I really do like you. This is my way of showing it. Thanks again, and have a great day.